Hello, one more time. This is the second episode of this experiment that is happening here. Um, if you listen to my previous episode, I basically didn't even introduce myself. So, if you know me, that's cool. Great. You know about me. But if you don't, my name is Vanessa. I am currently an artist. I've actually always been. The thing is, I just owned it. And a great part of the reason why I am owning it right now so powerfully is a book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I am so happy to have found this book because it is what inspired this podcast. I am. I've been for many years sort of like battling between what I wanted to do with my life and what I was supposed to do. As many of us, and I know that. So this podcast is about how I am going through this. This is my own interpretation of the recovery process, the journey back, the re-encounter, the reconnection, the healing of your creativity. In the last episode, I think I went through a little bit of everything because I was super excited and I was like, "Oh, I have to do this." And I just did it. It was a spontaneous inspiration. And since I actually did it and I put it out there, then I was like, "Oh, well, now I have to continue. I can't stop now." I a couple people listened to it, so I have to continue doing this. So I talked a lot about some dark emotions that sprout from being creatively blocked, or which is basically just keeping your inner child in a state of abandonment. So I talked a little bit about that, I remember. I talked about the feelings of envy or jealousy that happen when you don't pay attention to your actual dreams. Um, and we also, yeah. Oh, yeah, I talked a little bit about the morning pages, which is something that I really want to get into today. Because I know that Julia also really highlights this part of her recovery because basically it was apparently where everything started. I watched a video, an interview of her yesterday where she talked about how this began for her. She was basically in a turning point in her life and decided to have faith. That's how I interpret it. She just decided to have faith. She decided to believe in a higher power, a higher creator, and over, I mean, almighty, all powerful creative force, creative energy that created everything, including us. We are creations ourselves. And she decided to believe in this, and she decided to let herself be led. And when she asked, "What do I do now?" she was told, "Write." So what she did, what she felt she needed to do was writing 3 pages every single morning, first thing when you wake up. I have been doing this morning pages, and I have to say, it's been like 2 weeks, a little bit more. Like I have 18 morning pages so far. I'm writing down the number on them, and um, the effect is just very personal to start. The effect of your morning pages is gonna be between you and your morning pages. Um, Nobody else is gonna read them because you are not going to show them to anyone because that's best for you. I'm telling you, morning pages are just free writing, free writing, no judgment, no punctuation, no grammar. Doesn't matter. It does not matter how they come up. The important thing of the morning pages and what makes them so valuable is that it is a moment of connection between you and God, or the universe, or the great creator, or the cosmos, or the whatever you want to call it, right? I'm not gonna get into the tiny little details of what is God and stuff. I don't care about that. I believe in a higher power, and I want to call it God, and I'm just gonna talk about God. If you want to think about another word, it's up to you. And it is not only just a connection with God, it is your chance to be guided. I mean, morning pages offer you the possibility to ask for guidance and actually receive an answer. As you're writing, I think that handwriting for sure is the way to do the morning pages because it's a manual body thing, and the paper and the pen show no distractions. They don't even show you the date and the time how these computer devices do, right? So zero distraction, no one is around, it's just you and the page. You just write whatever comes to your mind. And if you want to begin a dialogue between you and your inner child, you can also do that in the morning pages. And whatever negativity is in your mind when you wake up, because we tend to wake up and forget everything we learned yesterday for some reason. Like we just wake up and it's like, oh, I am the same me as when I woke up yesterday, and I'm thinking the same things, and I'm starting to feel the same. I don't want to do this and stuff. Negative stuff starts coming to your mind. Bills to pay, things to buy, things to do. Everything is like that. If you wake up and feel like that, put that all in the morning pages. Let it out. Put it there. Put it out there. Let it rest there. And forget it. Forget it. It's out of your system now. That's the beauty of morning pages. So, do your morning pages. If you don't do anything else, do that. I understand this is a very intense journey. Like, I mean, if you have a dream and you're not doing anything for that dream, then you probably have a lot of stuff going on, okay? So this process is transformative. And as every very highly transformational process, you sort of go through a kind of like death and rebirth kind of stuff. So dying is not easy. You feel pain when you die in any way. It's painful. It's painful, you grieve, you feel the misery. And from that misery and that pain and that shame and that anger and that all of that, okay, all of that that festers from an unaccomplished dream, basically, and from an abandoned child within you, all of that is gonna come out. It's gonna come out. You're gonna look at these things. You're gonna face these things. You're gonna heal the wound. To heal a wound that is festering and that is infected, you gotta like open it. You gotta clean the stuff that is infecting, you know, that is bleh. Gotta go through that, right? If you don't do it, then the wound will remain the same and you will not ever get any closer to that dream. So let me ask you a question. What do you prefer? Would you rather 10 years from now, let's say it's 2019, let's think of 2029. Do you want to look back at that year and say, oh, I didn't do anything about this, and I'm still so jealous about people that do art and have a creative life and or do whatever that I want to do, and I hate them? Do you really want to be that bitter person? Well, if you want to, it's up to you, you know. But I highly recommend going through this process. So I wanted to also talk to you a little bit about what it has been for me this first sort of 18 days. I wanted to do it sooner, but I don't know. I felt like doing it today, and yeah, this first part of the journey has been really intense. This is why I'm telling all these things, that the ugliness and the ugly feelings and the ugly wound and the pain and all that. I'm talking about that because that's how it. That's what Julia says at the beginning of her book, and it's exactly what happened to me too. I mean, there is this one activity. I believe it's in week. I don't know if it's in week 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. It is facing your monsters and finding your heroes. So when you are in front of the paper, let's say that you want to write. Your dream is to write. And you're in front of the paper, and you have the pen, or you're on the laptop, and you have the open document in blank, and you think in your mind, this is what is happening. It's like, I can't do it. I don't know why, but I can't write. I don't know what's happening, but I don't think I can do this. I think, and I love a mountain of doubts, fears. I'm not capable. I don't have it. I'm not talented. I'm not creative. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm bad. I'm whack. I'm okay, whatever else. And you're blocked. That's what's blocking you. So the list of monsters is people that have told you something that left a huge impression on you. Of course, they didn't do it on purpose, hopefully, right? They didn't mean to destroy you. They didn't mean to block you. They didn't mean to hurt you so bad. But they did it. They said something. So what you do is you write that down. You're like, Mr. Miguel, when I was in grade 7, told me that I didn't know how to spell and that I missed all the commas in my story, and that still comes to my mind. I still remember that because that teacher, I loved that teacher. He was important to me, and I can't believe he said that to me. Now, if Mr. Miguel said that to another kid that doesn't want to be a writer or that is not really into it, that kid wouldn't even remember today. But for you especially, that was huge. That was devastating. Or you could have had a comment from one of your parents or another member of your family, or who knows who. You know your list. So you do that and you write it with as much detail as you want. You don't have to go super into it, but just write as much as you can remember. Why? Because the more you look into it, the more you'll understand, and insights that you don't expect might show up. So when I did my list of monsters, I wrote down, a music teacher that he actually kind of like dismissed my interest in singing, and he was like basically, yeah, I can just keep playing guitar. And I was devastated by that. And he doesn't even know that he destroyed me, but it meant a lot to me. And also, I wrote down my dad when I was very young, and I was trying to like impress him with my singing, right? I wanted to like you look, I can do this, and he hated it. I'm not going to go into the details of that. Basically, what happened later that day is that Tim came home, and I was devastated under the pillow, please note, crying and completely destroyed. But the next day, I felt wonderful because I was like, oh my God, that was powerful. I realized how deep these things had hurt me, and I realized that they were blocking me. And now that I look at them, I'm like, okay, girl, but you can take this. Like, this is not so bad. And the next step, of course, there is a next step. You don't stay just with the bad memory, because you could actually be depressed for weeks. What you do is you sum it up. Okay, this is what he said. You cannot write, you're terrible. And then you're gonna turn that into a positive affirmation. So you're gonna take that you cannot write, you're terrible, and you're gonna write, I am a creative and prolific writer. You're gonna go to the extreme positive. And what happens is magic, because now you have a response to that blurt, as Julia likes to call these negative things that come from your memories, from who knows where, hidden, very hidden under everything, right? You have an answer now. You can respond like, no, that's not true. I actually am a prolific creative writer. And if you say it like that and you put it like that, you're like, wow, why not? And suddenly these blocks start to I don't know, they start to melt away. And then there's your list of heroes, people that have encouraged you. Because what happens also is that we as creative people, we're all essentially creative. I mean, I'm not only talking about artists. I want to highlight this again. Creative living, creative life, creative expression, creative recovery is not only for like defined artists or like, you know, definition of artist. No, this is for anything. Anything. Whatever you do as a profession, you can do it creatively. Or you can have that profession and still have a dream of of making movies or writing books or painting, you know? So anyway, the list of heroes is important because it's important that we remember who complimented us. What do they say? Try your best to remember. For me, this exercise was actually really hard. I think I still need to work on this because I couldn't remember. I mean, I can remember people, like my mom, my sister, people that are like always gonna be super supportive, which is good. Add those people to your list, but try to remember what did they say? What was their words? Wow, this story is amazing. This story you wrote is amazing. And write it just like that. And then if you remember a good one, if you have a good one, because I honestly, like I said, I still need to work on this. It's so impressive how I cannot remember compliments. Wow, that's sad. I cannot remember what they said because what I've been doing all my life is blocking those compliments. What kind of thing is that? I've been denying it. I mean, I receive it, I smile, thank you, but then I'm like, this is not true, and and I forget it. So from now on, I'm gonna be very attentive, and I'm gonna graciously receive that compliment with a lot of love and gratefulness and thank you, right? But yeah, if you want, you can even highlight one, paste it on your wall where you do your morning pages, and get inspired by it every day, right? Even if it's your mom, it's encouraging, So that's a very good exercise that I wanted to share with you. The importance of facing these monsters and the importance of remembering these heroes, these people that complimented you, that have been there for you, and you might not even notice. And the third tool I want to give you today is positive affirmations. So I want to read to you the book, the famous book. So yeah, so I could go into the positive. I can find the positive affirmations, but what I did find though, see, this is how things are. You're not actually the one creating here. I am just being led. I'm letting myself be led. And I think that's why this is more important for me to read to you than the affirmations. These are the basic principles these are the basic spiritual principles for creative recovery and discovery that Julia puts in page 3 of her book. Is at the very beginning. So this is what it says. There are 10. Creativity is a natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. There is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. When we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. We are ourselves creations, and we, in turn, are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. Creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. The refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. When we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God. And that means good, orderly direction. I love this one. As we open our creative channel to the Creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. I love this one too. It is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. It's safe. It's okay. And the last one, our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move toward our dreams, we move toward our divinity. Tell me that this isn't wonderful. So these 10 principles are meant for you to melt down that skepticism. I mean, give it a try. Give it a try. Give it a try. Do the morning pages. Read these principles. You can find the book very easily. Julia is cool with you finding her book in a thrift store, or I know she's cool with it, because what she wants is that everyone discovers that everyone is creative, because everyone can connect to this divine source, because all of our yearnings and dreams come from there. They're not really ours. You're not really the one creating. You're not really the author. And this is wonderful. To me, this is, oh my God, this part of the journey, like, the fact that we are just basically vessels, we are just mini creators, we're made to the image of God, so that's the great creator, God, but we're mini, we're made in that image, so we can also create. We have like this little playground here on earth, but actually we are not the supreme creators. And this is something that every artist can say, because they know active, you know what I mean, like active people creating constantly and that have owned their creativity, not blog, they know this, because inspiration is experienced as something that just attacks you. It's something that comes to you suddenly, and that's how in ancient Rome and Greece they would explain it, right? In Rome, people were said to have a genius. Have, not be. Artists were not geniuses themselves. That's like a distortion of our scientific thinking. I don't know. A genius was something that was outside of the artist, and it's just like would come to it. There's a really good TED talk of Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love. If you haven't heard about it, I don't know what you've been doing. No, it's joking. That's like her great success, and she talks about it, and she talks about all of this, the genius and all that. I thought it was very interesting. I'm actually going to post it on my Facebook. I'm going to share it so you can see it. It's really good. But yeah, it's something that comes to you, these ideas, these inspirations just like attack you, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta write it, or I gotta record it, or I gotta do something quick because it's gonna go. So that is how the creative experience is. It's not really you, so take out that ego, and everything's gonna be so much easier. If you're afraid of embarrassment, if you're afraid of being ridiculed and whatever, well, it's not actually you, you know? Take it easy. It's much more chill than that. Um, you don't have to carry that burden, which is amazing to me, honestly. I feel like that was the most freeing, the most liberating thing ever. And yeah, so I just want to share with you, I wanted to share with you this, that this also is like an inspiration that attacks me. I mean, I think I mentioned it in the first episode. I kind of like start talking to myself, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? I have to record this. Because all of this that I'm thinking and I'm saying is for people to hear. I have to record it. And that's why I'm recording it. So that's how it's been for me so far. I hope these tools, you actually use them, because they're powerful. They're really powerful. Oh, yeah, and the last thing was, I mean, if you're gonna go into digging into what is painful to you, I mean, if you're gonna make this monsters list, you're gonna need positive affirmations. Because yeah, you're gonna need it. The hero list won't be enough, you know, because yeah, so positive affirmations. Okay, so here, okay, so I was looking in my notebook and I wanted to see if I found the affirmations, but what I found was the transformation of a negative one into a positive one. So for example, these are things that I was told when I was very young, and I am eliminating. So for example, if you follow the life of an artist, you will end up teaching at a school with a miserable wage, and your life is going to be miserable, and so you should be an engineer or a doctor, or, you know, a decent one, whatever it is. And so I was like, okay, I have this in my mind, you know, it's in my mind. So what will be the transformation to it? And what I wrote here was the positive affirmation, you know. I wrote, an artist's life can never be miserable. It is all abundant and overflowing with blessings. Second one, I can live a wealthy life and be a full-time artist with no need to teach in schools. And then I put, I am a wealthy artist. And then I put, my art is worth thousands of money. Well, that was kind of, okay. Thousands of money. That's funny. But yeah, do you know, just turn whatever those blurts and fears and blocks that are keeping you from having the wonderful life you could have, having the marvelous divine connection that you could experience. And I want to leave you with the idea of serendipity, the idea of synchronicity. In these 18 days that I've been doing this, miraculous things have been happening. That's the only way I can put it. I was invited to participate in a project that I was actually very surprised. I'm not gonna go into the details of it because, you know, you gotta be like careful with things like this, but yes, that happened, totally unexpected. The creation of this podcast is another miracle to me, because I have been wanting to do a podcast for a long time, but I just didn't know what to do it about. I thought of doing it about astrology, but for some reason it just didn't work out. I recorded it like 10 times and I never posted it, and this one I did it one time and I posted it immediately, Like, is that a miracle? To me, it definitely is. Um, and today I was in this very funny situation. um, and very strange. I wonder where this is gonna take me. Like, I went to this um, dancing lesson, and I met amazing people, and we really connected, and that was beautiful. And I have also been releasing myself from the burden of not being good enough and just letting myself be guided. And I'm just trusting the process, and I am paying attention to what comes up. And I'm paying attention to these geniuses that show up with ideas, and I'm trying to keep those ideas somehow, write it down, record it, sketch it, whatever, right? And it's been beautiful, and I'm so enormously grateful for this book. I'm so enormously grateful for Julia Cameron. I almost can't believe it. Yeah, so give it a try. Give it a try. Do the morning pages. Find your monsters. Find your heroes. Find positive affirmations. You can find them in the book too, but it's good that you create your own. Especially if they come from the negative ones. Like, if they're born from as a response to something that is already in your head, then even better. And synchronicity, pay attention to synchronicity. Create and let yourself be led. Just let yourself be guided. Ask for guidance. And you'll be surprised, seriously. In one of these episodes, I'm gonna talk more about myself. I know I haven't said much yet, but it's just that I don't find it relevant to this point. So whenever it is relevant, I'll just mention bits and pieces of my life, and that is all. That is all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this journey with me, because I am basically doing this because I don't want to be alone. I want to share this with you. I want to have this creative recovery with you, so that we experience this together. And yeah, I just think it's more fun like this. So I will hear you, or we'll talk next time. Have a wonderful day, evening, or whichever moment of your day you're in. Many blessings to you.